This week, Bob hopes to be able to keep his snorkel and fins at home when he goes to Chicago. After last year's biblical rainstorm, I think everybody's excited this time to see what this road course, what this street course can do in what it could have been last year, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, I think they want to see how the whole event goes. You know, big time concerts,
like concerts
right?
and everything, right?
Yeah.
Right. Concerts that were canceled, you know, and I mean, this event was almost concerts and then a race kind of around it. and all you people got was a race. So you really want to see if it has that festival atmosphere, which is what you want when you put it in the middle of a city. Is it going to really bring out people to come watch? What will what and the images and everything of cars, and not just of them sliding into barriers because it was wet. So I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think NASCAR is looking forward to it. You know, originally a 3-year deal to have this race, and I think what happens over this weekend will go a long way to determining whether that third year happens or not.
Can you recapture, Jim, the excitement of the first year? You know, understanding that the first year was, it wasn't a flop, but it was a wash. It was a washout.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like Bob pointed out, I kind of thought I had the same feeling about what I thought it was going to be. It seemed like concerts with, a race with concerts basically surrounding it going in. And then the race turned, and then, you lost the festival part of it kind of because of the biblical rain, and you got a really good race. Normally, I would say you don't have a second chance to make a great first impression, but I do think they've begun a unique opportunity here of that, because the weather situation could be so dramatically different and better that you're going to actually get to see what the actual festival-like type atmosphere will be. And then the big question is, does the race still live up to last year on dry conditions? Because, I mean, we have seen in some races very different racing between that done on wet weather conditions and on a dry track. And I almost wonder if, in a way, it's like a totally different race, which is sort of exciting in a way that there is going to be something very different from last season, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be as good an on-track product. And to me, that's the interesting part and big question mark going into the weekend.
Well, Bob, if the three of us had been sitting there last year and we threw out the name Shane van Gisbergen, we would have gone, Yahoo! And now, a year later, the guy's a major star in the sport and worldwide. Can he come out and repeat?
Oh, he could. First off, we would have been saying Shane van Gisbergen, Van Gis. How do I say that? Right?
SVG.
You ask 5 different people and get 5 different pronunciations, including people in his camp. So, it was. But can he repeat? Yes. Will he repeat? No.
I loved your certainty, Bob.
Well.
Bob's such a ray of sunshine.
I just the drivers who need a win are going to be much more aggressive, but really the big thing is going to be double file restarts. And now he certainly has a lot more experience with double file restarts. But I just think, I mean, he did a great job last year. But if there's double file restarts, somebody besides Justin Haley has a chance to push him aside. I think they push him aside, and I think he could win, but my feeling is that he gets, people are not going to have an ounce of second thought about roughing him up to get by him if need be, and I'd expect them to do it.
Yeah, I guess last year, Jim, people were going, I won't rough him up because there's no way he'll stay out front.
Well, and it's Bob, as Bob mentioned, this was the other part that we didn't see last year was double file restarts because of the weather conditions. And He's right. That's another totally different element that is a part of NASCAR racing that just they didn't use last year, and I think could greatly alter the event, especially if we get down to the end and one of our new people hovering on the playoff line needs a win
in our fifth overtime.
Because we actually started on time, and the race isn't ending under darkness, and anything could happen. So I think, a lot of people, I think, don't think about the things that we didn't have last year in that race. And yet it still turned out to be a very entertaining race, but it's going to be a very different race this Sunday for many reasons, which I think makes it like basically a completely new event.
Bob, real quickly, what are the nuances that make a street course different from a road course?
There's, instead of a runoff area, there's a wall or tires. It's when you talk about double file restarts and going into turn one, and in COTA you'd have from there to from there to Des Moines almost, right? To as far as space goes, and there you're not going to be able to go 3 wide so when you go into turn one. So I just think the lack of runoff, when you make a mistake, you're hitting something. You're not just going to get a bunch of grass in your car.
And I think I heard NASCAR talking a little bit about, Brad Moran was talking this week about, you don't know what the surface is going to be. Some guy driving to work 3 days ago may have lost his transmission and put a bunch of oil down where they're going to be running. I mean, that's a huge difference that you're not used to.
Well, that, and that we don't know what the dry conditions would have been last year because we never really saw any. So that's why I'm saying, to me, it's almost like a completely different new event, which I'm not sure, other than being acquainted with the actual layout of the track, I don't know how much data that was acquired from last year's races can teams actually utilize or help them this week. And for the Xfinity people, they never even got half a race last year, and it was called official, so they've never even run a full event or come close to it. I guess neither of them ran a full event, but they didn't even get halfway last year. So, I mean, there's no telling what that race will turn into.
I tell you, gonna be crazy, but we'll see what the atmosphere is like. Hopefully we'll capture some of the excitement that we had a year ago.